Hello.
3, go. 난 부를 거야.
So, I have a fun video planned today for you guys. I don't have a mic yet, but I looked at the video last time and it wasn't bad. I did buy one just so it's a bit nicer, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So we're chilling. Anyways, so the video plan for today is, you might be thinking why I look like I'm ill. It's because I don't have any makeup on. But I was thinking, so I put on my Instagram a couple days ago some questions that, like, about the gym. And I said that I would answer them. So I have written down quite a few. You guys actually surprised me. You guys sent me a few questions. But what the fuck? I wrote down some that I would love to answer. So yeah. And at the same time, I thought that I would do my makeup and get ready for the gym whilst I am currently answering your questions. That's the plan for today. Let's get right on into it then, shall we? Okay. First question that I want to talk about is, someone said, what's the biggest beginner mistake? So, in my opinion, at least from my experience, the biggest mistake that I've seen a lot of beginners make, and I did this as well, is thinking that lifting heavy is going to essentially get you big and buff and, like, into a really big muscular shape rather than, like, staying lean. And so a lot of people, myself included, avoid lifting heavy because they're scared of getting big, right? First of all, that's not how that works. That won't happen, especially if you're, like, progressively overloading your weights, meaning, like, 1 week you're doing one weight, the next week you're doing another. In that process, you are, like, building muscle, yes, but you're burning fat. So you're replacing your fat with muscle, essentially, which is going to give you the leaner look. You're not gonna come out looking like She-Hulk if you lift heavy. And that took me a very, very long time to realize. I always avoided lifting heavy because I thought, oh, if I do more, like, if I do more reps but a lighter weight, I'll get leaner. And that's not true. So don't be afraid to lift heavy, okay? That's nothing to be scared about. And yeah, let me move on to the next question. Someone asked me, do you have to track calories? Now this is kind of, like, it all comes down to what you're trying to work on and what your goal is. So I would say, if you're in a caloric deficit, it might be best for you to track your calories, because obviously in that process you're limiting the amount of calories that you intake, meaning, like, you have less than usual. So it can kind of get a little bit, almost like you lose track a little bit and you don't know whether or not you're eating over, if you can still possibly eat more in the day. So I think if you're in a caloric deficit, I feel like tracking is good, because it's helping you maintain the goals that you want to maintain, and stay in the process. However, I feel like if you're not in a caloric deficit, I feel like it's not necessary, as long as you're obviously, like, if you're trying to stay healthy, then I would just recommend eating healthy, but I wouldn't say tracking your calories is completely necessary in that process, because if you have no real like limit or no limitations to it, to like your calorie intake or whatever, it's not completely necessary. But you still can track. There's not really anything wrong with it unless it's like harming you mentally, where you're at like the point where you're like, oh my god, I can't have this last chip because it's like over my calories. Like that's a little bit excessive. But yeah, again, it all comes down to what your main goal is. I also just realized I have like leftover mascara in my eye, so I'm gonna try and get rid of that. Okay, moving on to the next question. Which one do I want to answer? He asked me, should you do cardio before or after weights? In my nose is, I'm not picking my nose, guys, I promise, it's just itchy. My opinion is, and I've done some research in this, is I feel as though, like, if you do cardio after your weights, I think that you see results quicker. I don't really know. My thought process with doing cardio after I lift weights is because if I do cardio first before I even work out, I'm already like drained. Like my body's already tired and I haven't even started lifting. So I feel like I wouldn't lift to my full extent of what I know I can do. Whereas if I ended with cardio, it's like, yeah, my muscles are tired out, but let's just finish it off by walking. So that's my thought process with that. Next question. Ooh, this is a fun one. What's your workout split? Okay. Well, it's taken me a long time to figure out what I wanted my workout split to be. I've gone through so many different splits, but I found one that I actually really like. So I work out 6 days a week, which some of you may think is a little bit crazy, but at the minute I'm unemployed, so I have nothing better to do with my life. But Mondays, we start off with hamstrings and glutes. So if you want a more in-depth workout routine, I can post that like on TikTok or something. I think I have one up on my TikTok, I don't know. Start off with glutes and hamstrings on Mondays. Tuesdays, we go into a pull day, so I do back and biceps. Wednesdays is glute focused, so it's just glute workouts. Thursdays, I do push day, so chest, tri, and shoulder. And then on Friday, we do just quad focused. And then Saturdays is kind of like my active rest day, where maybe I'll do a little bit of core, like a little bit of body stretches, like resetting my body, and then I do like some cardio. I'll do a walk, whatever, on the treadmill. Also, I try and get at least 10k steps a day. Sometimes that doesn't work out, which is totally fair because I live in the UK and it likes to rain every day, and I'm not a fan of walking in the rain. So, but that doesn't mean I'm still like productive throughout the day. I'll find other things to do, like film content, whatever. So I'm not like being a lazy sod. But yeah, that's my workout split. It's taken me a while to figure out what works best for me, but I've seen fast progress with this workout split. And to be completely honest, workout split doesn't really matter as long as it's kind of just like evenly panned out between different workouts and what you hit and stuff. So, someone asked me, how important is a progressive overload? I would say it's low-key important to do a progressive overload. This kind of goes back to what I said like in the beginning of the video, but A progressive overload, if you don't know what it is, I think I explained it, but I'll explain it again. It's essentially where after each like workout throughout possibly like the week, you just up the weight in the workout that you're doing. Whether it doesn't have to be a big change in weight, but just something you're progressively lifting more and more and more. And that's a progressive overload, which will build muscle. So if you're trying to build muscle and get lean and fit and shit, progressive overload is highly, highly, highly important that you should be doing that. Which, like I said before, took me a long time to realize. You don't have to lift you don't have to do a lot of reps. You could do like 4 reps with a heavy weight. That's still doing something for your body. As long as you you have the correct form, then you're chilling. But yes, progressive load is quite important in a fitness journey. Someone asked me how I stay motivated. Personally, I stay motivated because if I don't go to the gym, my brain is kind of toxic with me. I will start thinking like I'm so lazy, like I'm getting fat and shit, like terrible things that I think it's not really positive. It's not really a good thing. It keeps me motivated though. If I think that if I don't go to the gym, I'm lazy and ugly and fat and stupid. Like, it's not healthy, but it works. And then also just the idea of like upgrading myself, I guess I want to say. Just the idea of being better than what I already am is a huge, huge reason why I commit to the gym every day. Well, 6 days a week. I would say that. Can you eat your favorite foods and still lose fat? That is a tricky, tricky question. I want to say yes and no to that, because your diet, if you're trying to lose belly fat, your diet should be more of like an 80-20. You can obviously still enjoy the meals, the foods that you like, right? But if you are trying to lose fat, you just have to limit it and keep it with a healthy spread. You're not binging, you're not eating unhealthy every day, but you can have it every so often so that you're not like forcing yourself not to eat what you want. If that makes sense. I don't know. I'm gonna do one more question, because I'm pretty much done with my makeup. Okay. Last question is, what do you eat before the gym? So I highly recommend eating things such as that have carbs in them. So like berries, bananas, rice cakes, anything protein heavy like chicken. Rice is also good. Anything along the lines of that it'll help you in the gym push harder, keep you energized, keep you fueled, and it will also help your pump a lot better if you have high carbs in your meal. So yeah, that's just a few questions. I have a few more that I didn't get to answer. So I might do a part 2 of this next time I record. I don't know yet, but I wrote them down, so I have them in my mind, and I might answer them again in another video. But I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk for 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I hope maybe you learned something. I hope that I answered your question, and I hope it helped. But anyways, if you guys liked this video, I hope that you subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos like this coming in the near future. So, and I love advice, so if you guys have any advice or anything for my videos. Let me know. Don't forget to check out my social medias. I'll put them in the bio. I hope to see you guys in the next video that I make, and I hope you have a blessed day and good gym sessions. Love you guys.